Welcome to HBO Lax. This is Lizzie Pace.
This is Catherine Dudis.
We're the two foremost TV film, pop culture, Jersey, curly girl method experts in this universe.
It's
and
true.
We're here today to bring you our breakdown of season 2 of The Bear, episode 3.
Yes.
Sunday.
I love this episode.
It was so good.
It was so good.
Food porn, too.
The most food porn. I also want to read their scripts. I want to see how they're writing all of these things. Because there was so much that was just like not... There was just so much visual stuff. Oh, it's just so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much editing.
It was kind
cool.
of a poetic episode.
It was a poetic episode. At the end of this episode, I was just like, God, the writing just continues to inspire me and to just surprise me. Also, it was a short episode. It was only 24 minutes, 25 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It did end earlier than I thought.
They tell like the Tina Ibra story in like there's no dialogue.
There's no
in that
dialogue.
storyline.
And it's like
just like two shots.
It's two shots. It's so it's like a masterclass in how to do an ensemble show, honestly, and to do it in a way that isn't. Yeah, like you don't have to spend you don't have to spend too much time. Yeah, like a two shots will do is so inspiring. And yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, but like the Carmi thing, the fact that we don't really see the Carmi storyline, like we set it up, but we don't see it, which was interesting.
Yeah, what's that about? I want to see this move.
I know.
What the heck?
I know. I was like, well,
I'm sure we will next episode.
I think it's setting it up. I was a little like, oh, I was so sure.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Sydney's reaction to it without seeing it first.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I thought, oh, God, Sydney's just so great. This episode made me fall in love with Sydney more.
Yeah,
oh, God, she's just
such a good actor.
So good.
Like, so engaging.
By
the way, I sit on my stoop a lot with Luca playing.
Aww.
And we're pretty close to our neighbors. And I heard my neighbors getting in a fight about the bear.
Shut up. Spill the tea. What was the fight?
She just asked him if he wanted to watch the bear, and he was just like, no. And then he was just going off on all these reasons why he doesn't like it. And he's like, you're supposed to be on his side, but like, fuck that guy. And like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
There was just a lot going on.
That is so funny.
Then it was about how, he doesn't make her watch World War II things, and like they don't have to like everything. It was so funny.
That is wow. That's fascinating. That's interesting. Yeah, you can tell. That's How do you think that will last based on that fight? What do you think?
I spent a lot of time on the stoop. That's all I'll say.
The neighborhood stoop. Interesting.
Me and Luca are the neighborhood watch.
The neighborhood watch. I know. I think
keep track of everything that's going on.
That fight feels like a fight that's not at all about the bear. It's about the bear, but it's about so many other things. There is other things going on beneath the surface. That's so funny.
I feel like there's some like element of like what women all like this guy kind of thing going on.
Interesting. I know my mom keeps saying, she's just like, he's not attractive, like, but he's so attractive. She goes, if I just saw a picture of him, I wouldn't think he's that cute, but he's so cute. And my mom has a big old crush.
And cute. How's your dad feel about it?
He hasn't said anything about it. He hasn't agreed or disagreed, but he really likes the show. He really likes he's really into cooking. So I think he enjoys that aspect of it. Yeah.
Something for everyone.
Something for everyone, exactly. my mom was
Well,
really
let's get into it. We're not here to talk about everything I've learned on my stoop. We're here to talk about what I learned in this 24 minutes.
I love that, though.
I just thought it was really funny.
Oh, we have to have that should be a weekly segment of what you've learned on your stoop. I would love that. That's all I want. We start on another.
We open with him in group therapy. I guess it's the Friends of Al-Anon. What do you call that?
I think it's just Al-Anon, because Al-Anon is like. So I think I don't know. I could be wrong. But yes, he's at this family and friends of people who struggle with. I think it's the same place he was at last season.
I would assume.
Where he did his whole.
He says he does a little monologue here. Not as long as that 7-minute one.
Oh my God.
That we saw last season.
Crazy.
But he does explain a lot of backstory, about what he thinks about the idea of fun. And he says, as a kid, all the fun stuff got fucked up by my family in one way or another.
So sad.
And he says, sometimes I have to remind myself to breathe, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And have you watched I Think You Should Leave by Tim Robinson?
I've seen, not every episode, but I've seen.
There's an episode in season 2 that this really made me think about.
Oh, really? Is it
forgetting to breathe?
Oh, wait,
Highly recommend.
the virtual one?
On the game show?
Yeah. I watched that recently.
He goes in a virtual reality and then forgets how to breathe and just makes a big drama. It's very funny.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I really thought this was so heartbreaking and also weirdly relatable. I thought it wasn't my most relatable moment of the week, but I don't know. There was something about this that rang true to me that we don't need to unpack here. But
certainly not in front of the paywall.
Certainly not. Oh, and yeah. So this was really interesting and shows also kind of continuing what I think Carmi's character arc will be this season, is him learning to have fun. What does he like to do? Kind of like his cousin. His cousin brought up on the first episode, what is fun for you? And I think what's fun for him is just to be distracted at all times. It seems is just put it, which isn't exactly fun. And it seems we know he has a complicated relationship with his family. With his brother, it was really a painful ending to their relationship because his brother just stopped talking to him or didn't want him in his life, and then he died. And it's just been he's had a rough go of it. And yeah, this is really beautifully done. And then we cut to 11 weeks to open.
I think it's great they're not dropping he's still recovering from this trauma. Yes,
exactly. Yes, completely. Because I guess it's sometimes shows can get into the trap of okay, that was that season's problem and now we need a new problem. Yeah. But I think the best shows carries it through. And we cut to 11 weeks to open. We cut to Sydney Googling all of the restaurants that have closed down and getting really stressed out about it, kind of because of everything. Sad. Really sad. And also just amazing editing in this episode. Just really fast cuts to all of as an editor, myself, I know how long this took. This must have taken a really long time to do all these cuts and to get it to the timing and all this stuff. And so really, really interesting. And so we see restaurants that have Michelin stars are closing. So it's rough out there. COVID-19 they mention. Yes. And then we go to
COVID has happened in
COVID has happened. I know. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. They're just like us, stars. They're just like us. Yes.
We see, oh my God, these gorgeous shots of food. We see Carm and Sydney, and Carm is cooking, and they're really a team in this scene. Let's send Marcus somewhere to Copenhagen to learn about desserts. And they're trying their food. Oh, it's too salty. They spit it out. And they decide we need to try foods.
I honestly, okay, what do you think about what they made here? I would not want to eat this, correct? The thing they made?
I don't think I want to eat a lot of stuff that's probably at the Star restaurant.
Yeah.
My palate has been called before picky, basic,
Basic. A basic bitch
childlike.
palette. Again, all by the Chipotle employee.
Look, there was a shot of pepperoni pizza in here, that I would have eaten, and the sundae out of the foods in the episode.
That's really funny. Oh yeah, the sundae looked amazing. Oh, really made me want a sundae. I think it's funny when they like eat a bite and then they spit it out. I'm like, aren't you guys testing it as you cook? Or you're that surprised at the end that it's that salty? Or maybe it's actually, if I tried it, I'd probably be like, this is fine. But maybe because they have like a more sophisticated palate, they're like, oh, it's terrible. I'm like, how could it be that bad? You know? I'm always like, that's a bit dramatic. I'm like, you need to spit it out.
Yeah, like puking in a bucket.
I'm like, you did. I'm like, you made it every step of the way, didn't you test? But again, I'm not the chef here. I'm not the Michelin.
This is the first taste test. I don't know.
Yes, but he goes. She's like, you're sending me. They're gonna clean their palate. He'll meet her at this restaurant. And yeah, and he says it was almost perfect, and she was like, almost. And she's trying. Trying and failing, and she doesn't like failing, and he'll see her in an hour. And then we cut to Tina in her cool chef uniform, and we see Ibra just looking up at the, like, outside the college. We don't see him go in, so I'm assuming he did not show up to school that day. And then we got to Sydney creating a lot of postings they need to hire a lot of postings on Indeed and all those websites, cutting to the calendar. Every second counts. We cut to the boys ripping up the restaurant. We see Sugar for a second. We see Tina scrubbing down her station. And also reminding me that, oh my gosh, you have to clean a lot when you're a cook. That sounds hard. You gotta make sure it's really sanitary, and that's really stressful. And then we cut to a Richie scene.
This one was cute.
Richie
and his little kid, and the kid tells him all this exposition. Mom got a promotion, but you still have to pay child support. And
this is this is the first time we're learning he has a kid, right? I don't think we knew this. Did we?
No.
Okay.
No,
cool.
we did.
Yes.
Yeah, he is complaining about it first season, and
oh, got it. Okay, yeah.
And I think maybe we saw the kid first season.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really remember. But then he tells the child, I love Taylor Swift too. I just needed a break. And this was my not relatable moment of the week.
This was also my unrelatable moment of the week. I was like, okay, I feel like for other people this was relatable, but for us this is not relatable.
Yeah, look, oh, that's so funny. No, it's not.
It's not funny. How dare you? And on the day of Speak Now coming out,
and on this holy of days that this episode didn't come out,
that this episode did not come out on, that we're just recapping on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, take your those
but like
words
any
out of
other
your
musical
mouth.
artist. Or like Baby Shark. Okay, I get it. It's stupid
Yeah.
kids music. You don't want to hear it anymore. Taylor Swift.
There's so many genres to choose from.
You can't get sick of that.
You can. If you're sick of Evermore, you just go to Reputation. If you're sick of Reputation, you go to 1989. Richie.
Exactly.
I did think it was funny that you don't. I think it was funny that he did say that was a funny line that he just says that, like, because it's just alluding to a fight they probably had in the car. That was a funny.
Yeah, he obviously blew up about Taylor Swift earlier.
Yeah, exactly. I love those implied things are very funny. But she's very cute, and he says he loves taking care of her. So he's at least he's trying to let her know that, you know, you're not a burden. I want to take care of you. And he hugs her, and it's very sweet. And we're seeing these softer sides of Richie this season, and that's pretty nice.
Redemption season
for Richie.
We then see this phone conversation. Claire has tracked down Carmi's real number, and she calls him, wow,
Hero. Lizzie, imagine
get her.
imagine a world where you had that much confidence with a man. That's wild.
This
I would never.
Unrelatable.
Unrelatable. This was another unrelatable moment. And yeah, she calls
If
him.
someone gives me a fake number, that's just devastating. And
Yes.
I don't ever try to ask for anyone's number ever again.
So here's the thing. Yes, this is now, as much as I love the writing, this scene, honestly, it's like a science fiction world. I'm like, sometimes I feel like, and I don't know if a man wrote this, but sometimes I think men will write hot women as really confident and like, and I'm like, no, I don't even, no matter how hot the woman is, if she feels rejected, she's not going after you again, you know? But I think men think that they would, that they're like, well, she's a hot girl. She must know that she's a hot girl. It's like, well, not if she feels rejected. As fellow hot girls, we understand.
This didn't feel like real.
It did not feel real.
I don't
life.
know.
It was very.
Like,
This was it was very movie. It was very TV of the girl being like, "Come on, like, I know, do you want my number or not?" Though I will say, him saying, "I want you to have my number," was my horniest moment of the week. And then her saying, "Say it again," and he goes, I was like, ooh, that was definitely my horniest moment.
That is a really good choice for this award.
Thank
Catherine.
you. Thank you so much.
I love it.
It was really hot.
Mine comes right after that.
Oh.
She goes, "Are you busy today?" And he looks at his to-do list, and there's so many things on it. And then he says, then he agrees anyway. And this was my horniest moment of the
Ooh, that's good too. That's good.
week. When you're going out of your way for love, like it might ruin your life. That's horny.
That is the definition. Yes, that's really good. Yes, and
we've all done things.
We've all done things, and she is really obviously she's really happy that he's saying yes. I think she's surprised. He is, and I'm surprised too. He's decided to have fun. He's decided to, I don't know. Yeah, interesting.
Against his will.
Against his will.
He's going on this moving date.
And also the fact that Fack is she's like, Fack's your best friend. And he's like, no, Fack's not my best friend. Okay, yeah, he's my best friend. That was really funny. I laughed at that. And yes.
Yeah, I thought Sydney was his best friend though.
I did too.
He doesn't really talk to Fack in the show.
I know. I'm like, maybe those are behind the scenes things. Yeah. Anyway, so that was our Carmi scene, and we see Sydney walk into a place, and she's texting Carmi. He's not responding. She's at the place they agreed upon, and she orders a shit ton of food. And a lot of food porn. A matcha latte, unrelatable for me, but I know people like it. Whatever.
Ew, yeah.
I hate it. I don't understand. But
I just tried it for the first time. It was gross.
Oh, so gross. And a beautiful shot. Yeah, so much food porn in this episode. I almost used the term food because my parents and I watched this last night because I'm still in Jersey, and I almost used the term food porn in front of my parents, and I was like, they're gonna be like, what? They're definitely have never heard the phrase food porn. So I stopped myself, but that is exactly that. Don't need to explain that. They will be horrified. And yes, so she is eating the food all alone. Carmi, she gets a text from lots of food. She gets a text from Carmi being like, not gonna make it. Kind of a dick move. Hate that. She's basically stood up. Hate that. Yeah. If I were her, I would.
With a ton of food.
With a ton of food. I hope she's expensing all of this. And she's reading a book that the hot waiter guy notices that her dad gave her. And she's taking
Coach
notes.
K, courage and confidence.
Yeah, interesting. She's taking notes on the food.
I wrote here Sydney makes a weird sandwich.
Oh,
I don't know what this was.
Oh, she puts a hash brown on her egg sandwich. I thought that was inspired. I did love that. And then we cut to a bunch of Chicago shots, a lot of options for most Chicago moment. But I'm going to say Sydney on the subway, I think it's called the L, was my most Chicago moment of the episode. I mean, yeah, just many, many Chicago moments. And she's going, she's going through all these places, big montage. She goes into a grocery store and looking at all the seafood, and she's then goes then she goes and she sees this guy with the big animal carcass. Are these real chefs? She goes and visits all these chefs.
I'm guessing.
Right, they must be.
Like, especially the guy who was from somewhere called Avec. He didn't seem like that good of an actor. So I was like, this guy must be a chef.
None of the chefs seemed like that they were that good of actors. So I was like, this must be they must be cameos, even though we have no idea who they are.
I think they probably are.
It's probably very inside baseball.
Could we have Googled it? We could have.
We could have, but that's not what we're here to do. I mean, it is.
This guy, who's probably a famous chef, says, you know, you got to make hospitality and service overwhelming and trust your partner. There's a lot of emphasis on trusting your partner here. Mm-hmm. This other guy says his other restaurant closed because his business partner took all their money. And someone asked, Sydney, what's your profit share? Something that we asked last week, maybe the week before. Mm-hmm. And Sydney doesn't really answer this, which is alarming.
It is alarming. This is what I was afraid of. She hasn't asked for what she needs, which is way more money when this thing works. And she's not getting paid. That makes me so upset. And she's doing all this work.
She needs to talk about this.
Yes, she does. Ugh. This was that I feel like we're leading to a Carmi Sid blow up. Yeah. And yeah, we're cutting all these food shots. Also, her poor stomach. How is she eating all this food? We got ribs.
I don't
pizza.
know. Is she throwing it up in a bucket like at all these restaurants? I don't know. I did have that same note. I was like, maybe if we saw her smoke weed or something, this would make more sense.
Yes, this would make me and Lizzie go, oh, okay, now she should eat more. That's too little food. She smoked.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And she's asking the guy with the carcass about the short rib. She talks to that hot kind of lesbian woman. I'm assuming she's a lesbian. She has hot mask lesbian vibes. Maybe a famous chef. And she's just like the food porn, it's insane. And the hot mask woman says, oh, another thing about trusting your partner, and just every chef's advice is your partner better not screw you over. And their timeline opens in May. Oh no, that's too soon. Oh, no. And you're looking for staff, front of house, back of house. So they're having a hard time.
We keep hitting that no one is applying to these job postings. Sid tries to call Carm. He's not picking up. And she does make a call where she goes, sorry, I'm by a fucking train. And this was my most Chicago moment of the week.
Oh, that's good.
That's just guessing.
No, that's a great guess. And also, part of me thinks that must have been improvised, because maybe she just said that. Because what are the chances, unless they timed it, like they're like, okay, train's coming and action. They probably did that. But I was like, oh, that's kind of fun if she just improvised that.
No, that seems hard to time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I thought that. Also, when, again, the editing with all the food stuff was amazing. And I do appreciate that when she's eating, they don't focus on her mouth, they focus on her eyes. They do like a close-up of her eyes, which I really appreciate, because mouth stuff freaks me out. I don't like seeing food in mouth. Lizzie.
Oh.
I don't.
Okay.
You know how some people really like food mukbangs on YouTube?
What does that mean?
Okay, so this is very popular. People on YouTube will like get a bunch of food and eat it in front of the camera while they talk, and some people love watching other people eat. And not like in a sexual way, just like they like it. And I don't like food mouth sounds. I don't mind watching people eat, but to me, I don't need to see it. Oh, I hate when people say delicious. Maybe I do have problems with this.
You hate the word delicious?
Yeah, I know. I brought this up at a Thanksgiving dinner one time and no one was on my side, but I think for something about the word I don't like. I don't like yummy and I don't like delicious. I don't know why I don't like it. It gives me
What
like
do you like to say about a good food?
like it's great. It tastes awesome.
Terrific.
Terrific. Fantastic. Something about like because to me it sounds like because I guess food maybe is like a sensual, it's a very like pleasurable thing, right? It's like very sensory and I don't want to see other people like, I don't like when people like take a bite and go and like moan a little, like it just makes me upset. I'm like that's
Delicious.
private. Ew, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's how some people don't like the word moist. That's how I feel about moist doesn't bother me, but so that's something about me. So I appreciated that there wasn't a lot of like mouth stuff. So thank you, Bit the Bear.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a little about me.
That.
It's a little about me.
Little...
In front of the paywall. Yes. And they're all
we see she's on the phone with Marcus. We see Fack make fun of Marcus because he tells Sid he's looking forward to their conversation later.
That was funny.
They're all razzing each other.
They're
left
razzing
and
each
right.
other. Yeah.
And Sydney talks to these randos. The beef looks cool. Oh, she's trying to recruit randos to work at the restaurant, and then this chef comes out. You're seriously trying to poach right in front of me?
Oh, that was funny. That was funny. And she's such a go-getter. Like, she's acting like she's just taking on this restaurant in a way that's just really amazing, and she needs to be compensated. She's getting yelled at by chefs on the street. And
she's eating more.
She's eating more. She is
brainstorming pasta shapes that look like the buildings of Chicago. There's pictures of her as a kid.
Oh, so
this episode, like, just it feels like it took a lot of work. Like, a lot went into it.
Yes, when we see the plate with the little pasta and they like do the cuts of like it appearing and not appearing, and guys, just this editor killed it.
Like that's how a chef's mind works, brainstorming dishes.
Oh, yes.
Perhaps.
Yes. We also have Sydney on top of on like a bus or like a boat and getting inspiration. She's just putting so much work into this and like tapping into her creative self. And yeah, just so much crazy cool cuts. This just was such a visually interesting. This whole episode was the most Chicago moment of the week. And
yeah.
Yeah, just really, really visually interesting. And then
she's high as fuck now. She's eating an ice cream sundae, and she sees a mom and daughter eating it and gets sad. Oh god.
Oh god. She needs emotional support. She doesn't have emotional support, and it's sad. But that sundae looks incredible.
We see back at the restaurant, there's all this shit everywhere, and Sid comes in, and they're like, well, the wood's rot, there's termites, roaches, raccoons, rotten wood. This isn't a facelift anymore. They have taken down all the walls, I guess. Oof. And Sydney and Carms get in this fight. She's like, well, it's a big decision to knock him down. It would be nice to be included. He's like, what? I mean, it had to be done. It's the only option. Defensive. I also thought it was interesting that we discovered what's happening with Sydney. So it's like it adds to the feeling, like we're feeling like Sydney. We also feel blindsided. We're like, whoa, we missed this too. Like we weren't here for this. Do you think we'll see like the other half of this episode next?
Oh,
that would be cool.
That would be cool. Maybe we do. Maybe. Carmi's response is very defensive, and I understand the defensiveness because I think he knows that she's right immediately, but he just is being like,
yeah.
And then he says sorry, and he makes the little sorry sign language thing, and yeah, but she's sticking up for herself.
He did.
Yeah, he did the little little thing.
Oh.
And yeah, she just wants to be included because she's doing all this work. He bailed on her, and then she did all this work, and she comes in, and she needs to feel. Obviously, totally understand and agree with her. Like, she needs to be included, and even if they had no choice, she needs to be told because she's doing so much work.
Yeah.
And then she is on the phone and she's wondering if she can cash in on that favor. Do you have a kitchen I could borrow? And then she goes into a kitchen and and he's like, we're hiring. And the guy's like, we're hiring. And she's like, stop it. And she's making pasta, or ravioli and pasta, which seems so hard, and doing such a good job. And then she puts the thing, we finally see like the thing that we saw the images before of what she was thinking about, and she doesn't like it. It looks great. There's no way it's bad.
Idea.
I say, yeah, she spits it out. These chefs are too hard on themselves. It looked, how could that be bad? It was pasta with cheese and then like a green sauce thing. I'm sure it was great. Their palates are too sophisticated. But
she wants perfection.
She wants
she's
perfection.
She's got to get that star.
She's got to get that star.
When she gets frustrated, she puts her head on the counter directly, and this was my most relatable moment of the week.
Oh, that's so
I did
funny.
this week.
Oh.
I had to go to the Apple store to get my phone fixed, and it was a nightmare. And I spent like all day there, and eventually I just put my head on the desk at the Genius Bar. I was like, I give up. I'm not even gonna pretend like this is okay. What's happening?
Oh, I totally know that feeling. That is so relatable. Is your phone okay now? Did they figure it out?
Eventually they replaced it, and the guy was like, you're so lucky they replaced it. And I was like, I got insurance. I'm not lucky, and I spent all day here.
Yeah. What's lucky? Oh my God, we're just a slave to these
it was
phones.
a whole series of
I'm so sorry.
Just being like powerless in the situation and be like, come back in 15 minutes. Okay.
Oh,
it's
my
fixed.
God.
No, it's not. It was just, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
it's the
I used to put my head down on the desk at my old job that I hated too.
Oh my God. Yep.
Where you're just like.
Yep. I think I did that literally this morning. Yeah. That is very, you're just like, I'm done. I don't know why, as humans, we're just like, I need to just.
Yeah,
I'm like, head
I'm
needs
not
to go
really
down.
going to sleep, but like maybe I could.
Maybe I could, and maybe that would make me feel better if I could pretend
and it's
like
a small form of protest.
It is, and it indicates to everyone around you that you're done. You know, it's a, it's
it maybe indicates to people out store. Maybe don't go in this.
Maybe
Apple
don't.
store,
I know someone walks in, sees you with your head down, they immediately walk out. They're like, nope.
Yeah.
Not
today.
Not today. Oh God, that's so frustrating. Yes, I love this episode. I can't wait for the next one. I just thought it was masterfully done. It was different than any other episode we've seen of theirs. They're really they're taking swings and they're doing a good job. It was very much a Sydney episode, which I love.
Yes.
And
yeah, she's so good.
She's just good. She can carry it.
Focused on her.
Yeah.
And the food porn in this uppy.
Oh my gosh.
My Lord.
And I was saying to my dad, I was like, I think it's kind of good that they're showing us every food in Chicago so we can see where they fall. Like when they decide what food they're going to do, it's like, we'll have an idea of like, okay, like, I don't know, where do they fall in the cuisine of Chicago? And, so, and it's also, it makes sense. It's like a show about food and we see all the food and that's possible to make in this episode.
Yeah.
And just visually really interesting. And again, guys, the editor, we gotta give it up to the editor because they don't get enough credit and that shit took a while.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of what you're feeling of like the episode being good is because of the editor, because of the vibe.
Also, most movies too. It's honestly, as I'm more and more into this filmmaking thing, I'm like, God damn, the editor's important, and they do not get as much credit.
And yeah, but thanks guys so much for joining us. I gotta do my thing real quick. Gotta do my thing.
Yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday with our next Severance episode, and then next Friday with our next Bear episode.
Yes. Carlita Babita, love that. Thank you for the gigs. I first started listening to Game of Roses and was glad to hear Lizzie had another podcast. I like to listen when I code easier assignments at my job. Love that. I love that people are listening while they do boring work at their job, because that's what I would do a lot. It makes me feel like I'm getting paid to have fun. It might be really weird, but I don't actually watch Succession or Last of Us because they're too stressful and I'm a delicate flower, relatable. But I still like to know what happens in the shows, and I love hearing people that know the TV and film industry how it works comment on the shows. Leaving a good review, because Catherine said someone left her a 3-star one about she laughs before she talks. Just be yourselves, ladies. That's why we're here, and it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You feel. Thank you, Carly. Thank you so much. That's really nice.
That's so nice, Carly.
I needed to hear that. Honestly, that makes me so happy you listen while you do work, because that's just. I love paying it forward, because the amount of hours I've done data entry jobs that podcasts have gotten me through. So, God bless. I'm so happy. All my chores. How do I clean? I would never clean without podcasts. I don't know what I would do. My place would be disgusting. Thank you. It was really, really sweet. And taking the time to write that is just truly means a lot. And thank you. Yes. And thank you guys. Continue to rate and review. And we will see you next week. And yes. Chef. Our easiest sign off ever. I love it too.
You tell me like that.
I know.